stand as you're able for the reading of the Word of God. I'll be reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verses 40 through 42. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever even gives a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
You may be seated.
Well, it's that time of the year, isn't it? 3 words. Vacation Bible School. Woo! Yeah. Where we get to spend a whole week with those little rascally, wonderful God's children. We've been planning for this for how long? Forever. We have been decorating. If you came in the back door, you saw how the halls are decorated in anticipation of the kids getting here. The fellowship hall is decked out. Oh my goodness, it is going to be awesome. I tell you what, it is going to be some more week. But it's intense, isn't it? It is an intense week of action with these little guys, bless their hearts. And we look forward to it every year. We look forward to it so much, and pretty much, I'll bet you half or maybe even more than half of us sitting here are participating in this year. And some of us are even going to be leading it. And so we've got these kids coming, and we're so excited to have these kids here. And it starts tomorrow night. So if you kind of missed out on it, you can still hop on that little VBS train going forward. Now, we have been, and we're so excited about Vacation Bible School. Not only are we doing it this next week, we've been doing it kind of all summer long, both at the river service and then here in town, right? We thought, wow, what a great message that we are on this big adventure with Christ in life, right? The Rolling River Rampage. Man, there's some action there, right? And not only is there action, which is the first week, or the first month we've been talking about, adventures of following Jesus, because following Jesus isn't always easy, is it? Following Jesus can be an adventure. Sometimes it's super fun. Sometimes we get things through the daisies. But oftentimes it's not super easy. And we get to lean on God during those times and grow closer to God. And it's a beautiful thing. And then this month, we also we've been talking about acceptance all this month and how we're accepted by God and loved by God. Where we are, as God wants to be in a relationship with us and draw us into relationship with God so that we might be transformed more and more and more into God's image, right? That's pretty cool. And then next month is one of joy, and we are going to have some joyous songs. And I might even do a dance. And if you don't want me to, we can make a donation. It's okay. We've been through this with the kids already, haven't we? Some of us remember that. And then the last month is rest and peace, because we're going to be needing it by the time we get there. And so it is such an amazing time, such an intense time, such an immersion time of allowing children to experience God at new and fresh levels, and to grow themselves and to grow in their faith and to draw closer to God and closer to each other. And it's just such an awesome week. Now, I was reminded, and if you caught the newsletter this week, you might have seen a little bit of this already, or if you're a fan of the Upper Room. Okay, so if you saw it on the newsletter, you know the newsletters we have are clickable, right? So if you get the electronic newsletter, there's all kind of other little goodies buried in there that all you got to do is click on, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And so many of these wonderful things are just a click away if you get the newsletter. And if you don't get the newsletter, write on your little thing on the sheet that you're going to turn in today and say, send me the newsletter. I hear it's awesome. Because it is. And one of the things that we put in the newsletter this week came from the Upper Room. Now, it had to do with a woman who was also involved in Vacation Bible School. Now, what she had done is she had actually traveled, though, to Romania on a mission trip to do Vacation Bible School with these kids. Man, you talk about going big time. Going all the way to Romania to do a Vacation Bible School. Man, that's pretty cool. And she thought so too. And let me share some of her thoughts with you as we get into this. So just so that I don't mess it up, I'm just going to go ahead and read this part. Driving through the summer-browned countryside of Romania, I heard one woman on my Vacation Bible School team ask another, "What is God teaching you this week?" Well, that question clanged around in my mind for several days, and what was God trying to teach me? Surely God had brought me to Romania to show me some life-altering truth. Yet, among all the Vacation Bible School crafts and singing at meetings, where most of the participants couldn't understand me, I couldn't see any lesson in it for me. And I didn't think that I had any impact on any of them. We feel that way too sometimes, don't we? We feel like oftentimes we just don't have an impact on people's lives. And we forget that God and God's Spirit is behind this, that God is breathing new life into other people, sometimes through us, sometimes not. But at the same time, God is breathing new life into us. Ask anybody that's participated in Vacation Bible School, when we get to the other side, you know, we may feel like, what just happened? But we also feel like, man, God did something here. How amazing is this? We got to touch kids' lives. We got to share God's love with other people. What a beautiful time it was together. When I was teaching kayaking at the Outdoor Center, I was very focused on the basics. Even at the advanced level, I wanted to make sure that they had the basics nailed down. And when we hear this message from Jesus today, I think it echoes the basics of what Jesus wanted people to understand. People of all ages, people of all backgrounds. I mean, our children's message was perfect for this today, wasn't it? It means that everybody's included. And that nobody's any better than the other, that everyone is included in this. Jesus uses the idea of, the prophet or the righteous person. People that we kind of put up on a pedestal that, they're the cool kids, right? And then there's also those that are what might be called the least of these. The tax collectors in our society. The ones that people tend to overlook. And Jesus says, yes, they should be included too. And so when we look at that through the idea of the basics, To me, I believe what Jesus taught was the basics. Was love God. Love God and be in a relationship with God and let God fill you up and restore you where you are, where you need to be restored. The areas where you're hurting. Let God fill those areas of hurt. The places that you feel weak. Let God strengthen those areas. Be fully immersed in God's love. And the other part is like that too, isn't it? Love others. Love others the way that we would want to be loved. Love others the way that they need to be loved, right? We talked about this a little bit last week. And along the line, we see that sometimes people just don't seem to be that lovable. We struggle sometimes to love some people. But one of the things that I've noticed over the years is that the ones that are the hardest to love just often are the ones that need love the most. Sometimes these kids that Carol's talking about, that have come from broken families, that are just trying to find a toehold just to hang on to life and just make it to another day. They need love more than anything. Just like we need love. But we remember that there are people that just don't seem that lovable. And Jesus says, love them anyway. You see, love breaks through those barriers. It may not be the first time that we love. In fact, oftentimes when we first try to offer love in these situations, they are going to push back as hard as they possibly can. Because they want to know if that love's for real. Because they want to know what the deal is. Do you really mean that, or are you just saying that? Are you really willing to love? And that's when Jesus says, we've got to dig in deep and love them anyway. Love them especially when they're pushing back against us. And oh, buddy, that can be hard. But Jesus says, love them anyway. You've heard it said that a good offense is the best defense. It's often used in terms of military terms or for games, right? And I think Jesus probably believed that too. But you know what? Jesus would put that Jesus twist on it and say, yeah, you know what your best offense is? Love them. You know what your best offense is going forward? Is to love them more than anything in the world. When we encounter other people that don't seem lovable, lead with love. Love them. It keeps them guessing. Remember the story about the lady who went to Romania? Who had gone all the way over there to teach vacation Bible school and was like, I just don't know why I'm here. I can't speak the language. The kids don't understand me. Why am I here? And let's hear the rest of her story. Until Wednesday, I didn't know why I was there. On Wednesday, a little girl handed me a daisy and a picture of bunnies and butterflies. Okay, now that'll just make your day right there, one. When a little kid hands you a picture of bunnies and butterflies, it is on. Through the translator, her mother said, "She comes to Vacation Bible School because of you." What? She thinks that you have a nice smile and that you sing pretty. Well, I figure I can do 1 out of 2 at least. And guess which one that one is. She thinks you have a nice smile and that you sing pretty. And the woman's heart melted. And in her heart, God whispered, "There's your lesson." When we go on mission trips, serving soup kitchens, or teach Sunday school for years on end, we might wonder if what we do matters. But that daisy and bunny picture reminded me that when we obey God in the seemingly small work, God expands its impact in ways that we could never imagine. Our call is to do the work. Our call is to love Him anyway. One of the things that I think is so amazing is that when we love Him anyway, we find that we are blessed. That when we bless others, we are blessed in return. I know several of you have heard me tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway because it's a good one. When I went on my first trip down to Haiti, we'd only had a couple wells, and I'd spent the whole week down there in anticipation of visiting this first well, and we'd done all this other stuff, and here we are at our first well, and Dr. Eugene, the man who coordinated all this stuff and healed so many people down there, is doing so many amazing things, and he calls me over to the well, and it's surrounded by kids and families and people because it's a brand new well, and they're already using it, and they're loving this thing, and it's bringing new life to their community, and Dr. Eugene, of course now, I'm starting to feel pretty good about it. Yeah, we're blessing these folks, aren't we? This is a good thing we're doing right here, right? And Dr. Eugene comes over and says, "Hey, let's take some pictures." Like, yeah, that's good. We want to not make too much noise. That's what we're trying to do right now. So Dr. Eugene calls me over and says, "Let's take some pictures." And so one of the pictures, Dr. Eugene got behind the well, and these are little manual pumps. I don't know, you've probably seen these things where you just kind of pull the handle up and down, and then it pumps the water out. And so I was out in front of it. He says, "Hey, stick your hands out like you're going to get the water on your hands." And so he was back there just pumping away, and I thought, yeah, this will be cool. This is going to be a great picture. I had my hands out there, and it was all good until the water hit my hands. And then it hit me. Oh. This is life to these people. And at that moment, I realized that I was the most blessed person there. That I was the one doing the blessing. I was the one being blessed. And it's in moments like that, it's in moments of being with these kids in Vacation Bible School and helping them experience God's love. That's such a beautiful thing. And so thank you all who are in on this Vacation Bible School coming up. And I want to assure you that what you do matters. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the love that you pour into these kids in so many different ways. Thank you. Amen.